This is probably my favorite pick from this year's draft for the Patriots. More than Tyquan Thornton or Cole Strange, Marcus Jones in the third round is a really good pick. I wouldn't say a perfect pick, but a really good pick. New England didn't have to reach for him at all as he just fell into their lap. And while they did miss on some of the better corners earlier in the draft, Marcus Jones was one of the best ones available, and New England was able to go pick him up. And so for now, let's look at Marcus Jones' ability to play 3 different positions. Yeah, 3 different positions. Okay, so Marcus Jones had a very impressive 2021 season. He had 48 tackles, a tackle for loss, a forced fumble, 18 pass deflections, and 5 interceptions. He also was a consensus All-American, a first-team All-ACC, ACC Special Teams Player of the Year, and he won the Paul the Hornung Award, which is awarded to the most versatile player in college football. So yeah, 2021 was a pretty freaking good year for Marcus Jones, and his on-field abilities also correspond to those stats, as while he was a great cornerback, he was also an excellent special teamer. From the cornerback position, Jones has the ability to switch his hips seamlessly with very little pause. He's twitchy and explosive. He's got that sudden burst when he breaks on the ball and when he's driving down the field. He's both excellent on his on-ball and playmaking ability as he looks to force incompletions and get picks when he can. And despite his size, which I'll get into in a second, he plays like a much bigger and stronger player, and his tackles force ball carriers to go backwards. Now on special teams, that's where he's really special. He returned 9 special teams touchdowns, 6 of them being kickoff and 3 a punt return. He averaged 28.8 yards per return during his career. And so, if New England wanted a versatile player, then they got a damn good one in Marcus Jones. Now, with that being said, there are still some downsides, of course. For one, he is also undersized, like Thornton, at 5'8", 177 pounds. And what that means is that because of his size, he is going to be getting bullied by bigger, more springy receivers. He also lacks the speed that comes with a smaller player, though again, this does not mean that he is slow. It just means that he isn't as fast as, say, someone like Tyquan Thornton, who the Patriots drafted in the second round. His coverage skills are fine, but his reactions are more reactive and less anticipatory, leading to more mistakes. And finally, he is a bit handsy in coverage, though this could definitely be cleaned up. Overall, Marcus Jones is a good, versatile player that could be utilized both as a fantastic slot corner and an excellent return man. And with the addition of Malcolm Butler plus pre-existence of Jonathan Jones and Jalen Mills, he will likely have to start in special teams, which is not a bad thing considering how good he was in college with Houston. And so I'm not upset that he'll start on special teams, but hopefully one day he'll come in and be a great slot corner for the team. And also keep in mind that he had a couple of reps at wide receiver. And so when I'm looking at Marcus Jones as a whole, he reminds me a lot of the early days of Julian Edelman, where he was used not only as a wide receiver, as a special teamer, but he was also used a bit as a cornerback. And so while Marcus Jones' primary position is cornerback, he also does play special teams. He can also get a couple of reps at wide receiver, and I think that's also really interesting. I think that New England should definitely attempt to get him in the mix there, at least try to get him a couple of plays at wide receiver. I think that would be definitely fun. He'd be definitely very useful during those trick plays. But yeah, definitely a very nice pick by the Patriots. I definitely do like Marcus Jones, and I'm excited to see what he brings to the team. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll catch you guys later in another episode.